Hey, my name is PolishLynx and this is Narcissu Anthology. Let's begin chapter 5 called Bread of Wounds. Bread and Wounds, sorry. Okay, that night, after a bit of time passed, we once again progressed through the forest. We were searching around for a good place to warm up. Surprisingly, the princess raised her voice. For some reason, she was standing in front of an old sign.
ああ、どうやらここが元国境のようだな。
I added used to because the country had fallen and had already been annexed. Is it her country? Like her home country?
おかげでこの国を出るのに倍の距離が。って、おい、どこに行くんだ?
For some reason, the princess started walking into the forest. I reflexively checked to see if any soldiers had appeared, but there didn't appear to be any around.
ちょっと待てよ!
Either my requests for her to stop didn't reach her ears, or she ignored me as she went on into the forest. Well, what can you do? Curious, I went over to look. She had dug into the ground through the dusting of snow, and she seemed to be holding something.
なんだそりゃ。
カメオよ。
She said that slowly. To look at it, it seemed like little more than a dirty old fragment of shell with scorch marks. Why did she look at it like it was so precious?
もしかして、お前が以前に埋めたのか?
There wasn't really any answer to that question. She just silently let go of the camel-like thing and began to bury it again. What did she think? Did she go through all the trouble of digging it up just to bury it again?
なあ、水でもまいてみるか。もしかしたら麦のように芽でも生えてくるかもしれないぞ。
What the fuck is he talking about? I wasn't being serious, obviously. I was joking, a sarcastic joke toward an incomprehensible act. And yet...
だといいわね。
That murmured reply was all I got. She looked lonelier than usual. It was the first time I'd ever seen her show any sort of emotion.
もう行きましょう。
Ending with that, she left the place hurriedly. Even though she had started at it for so long just now, she left without even turning back.
おい、待てよ、姫様。
ねえあなた、いい加減やめてくれる？
何をだ？
私を姫様と呼ぶのを。
She glared at me harshly as she said that.
では、何と呼べば？
別に何者でもない。好きに呼んで。
She fell silent, then turned away and continued walking. As always, I couldn't make heads nor tails of her. But that surprisingly lonely expression. Lonely and somewhat familiar. It left an impression. The next day, night. A chilling snow was falling. The white insect wings that fell from the grey sky were gradually turning the trees in the mountains white. And on that kind of mountain path we continued walking. And as always, she was attacking some soldier.
どうか命だけは。
諦めなさい。どうせ毒で死ぬから。
Wait. That poison is still there? How can it be there for so long? Saying that, she pointed the tip of her sword at the soldier's neck. At that point, the young soldier realized he was dying. He gave up on struggling and folded his hands to begin offering prayers to the heavens.
どうかこの者にも慈悲の心を。
With those final words, the soldier fell silent. This was my fourth time witnessing a scene like this since we began.
終わったか?
ええ、殺したわ。
As usual, I scrounged some bread from the soldier's blood-spattered leather bag and put it in my mouth.
相変わらず容赦ねえな、姫様は。別に殺さなくてもいいだろうに。
先になってパンを食べる人に言われたくないわ。
ま、そうだわな。
I feel I've gotten to know her a decent amount after traveling with her these last few days. She's pretty good with a sword. She attacked from behind all the time, but for someone who knew what to look for, her swordsmanship was quite orthodox. Of course, that wouldn't work on a real battlefield, it was too proper, and there were too many things that couldn't be predicted in a melee. However, in a single combat, a common ruffian or mercenary probably wouldn't best her. Besides, the most amazing thing about her was her lack of mercy. Or, to put it another way, her will to live.
しかしお前は同胞でも容赦ないな。
同胞？
ああ。仮にもお前はこの国の人間だったんだろ？
違うわ。それに、私以外は皆、他人よ。
Saying that, she pointed at the body lying on the ground.
生きる道は一つしかない。でも、死ぬ道は無数にあるのよ。
Well, that's pretty much true.
なるほど。じゃあこの兵士のむごい死に様も無数にある死に方の一つだったわけだ。
そうよ。でも私が生き延びる道はこれしかない。
Saying that, she kicked the motionless body down the slope. The corpse rolled down helplessly, thumping and breaking tree branches along the way. Without even glancing at that, she whipped the blood from her sword. She paid no heed to the blood splattered on her face. With my eyes still on her, I continued.
なあ姫様、また質問していいか？
何？
お前
Is your life really that precious?
ええ、一つしかないからね。
She answered immediately. There wasn't even the slightest hesitation. To kill people unblinkingly, at rage, without a shred of pity or mercy. I didn't really think that in itself was sad, just that the world is a sad place. A few days after, once again avoiding the eyes of others, we proceeded through the forest. The sky was very clear today. From it, the surprisingly clear weather had that piercing sunlight unique to winter. But to the girl with me, it didn't matter whether it was day or night. Bread was eaten and passing soldiers were killed. They were killed mercilessly, begging for their lives, then robbed of their bread and silver. Then, her face wet with her blood, she'd stuff the bread in her mouth, cold-hearted, merciless, dreadful, covered in blood. In other words, the princess as usual.
どうかした？
いや、相変わらずだと思ってな。
しょうがないじゃない。私にはこれしか生きる道がないんだから。
まあ、確かにそうかもしれないが。
Like she had said before, it seemed she really didn't have a place to return to. And on top of that, she was being chased. Her opponents would never let someone sentenced to death escape. They probably went double for the last surviving princess of a fallen country. It would make sense for people to be out to get her, at least until she made it out of this country. So while I won't defend her actions, I can understand why she'd feel a need to kill every soldier we encounter.
とはいえ、パンのために人を殺すのもどうかと思うがな。
And while I was muttering that,
私にはこれしかないのよ。
she said that under her breath.
それともあなた、麦の作り方でも教えてくれる？
いや、残念ながら俺も人の殺し方しか知らない。
じゃあ黙ってて。
She lowered her head as she said that, her expression somewhat lonely. I'm sure even she understood that she couldn't go on like this forever. Even now she was able to win because her opponents had been taken by surprise. Against more than one person or against trained soldiers or knights, this strategy probably wouldn't work.
なあ姫様、もしお前では勝てない相手の時はどうするんだ？
何のためにあなたと一緒にいると？
I see, an eminently simple answer.
だが、もし俺がお前を残して逃げてしまったら、以前にも言ったと思うが、俺は死に方を探しているだけで、お前のように生きることを望んでいるわけではない。
But now that I think about it, dying by protecting someone, that's something he might like. Maybe. That's right, that was my goal. Even now, I was only avoiding people and fleeing to another country because the death that awaited me here was most likely boring.
いざとなれば、俺は逃げるぞ。お前を見捨てて。
その時は私が死ぬだけのことよ。
なんだい、随分とあっさりしてるな。
しょうがないじゃない。死につながる道は無数にあるんだから。
I wouldn't say that out, but if that's how she survived up until now, then that was a very hard life indeed.
だが姫様、一つだけ忠告してやろう。
忠告？
ああ、人殺しの先輩として、どうやらお前は知らないようだからな。
Saying that, I pointed at the body in front of us.
こいつから血が流れているのが見えるだろう。
それが何？
では、お前自身も血を流していることに気づいたか？
She peered around, moving her body to look.
別に怪我してないわよ。
Inside. He's talking about feelings.
いや、こいつを切ったとき、お前の心も傷ついたんだよ。
心が？
知らなかったろ？心も血を流すんだよ。
And when it bleeds too much, eventually.
うるさいわね。別に死ぬわけじゃないわ。
ああ、死にはしない。ただ、
A hole opens up in the heart, you see. Okay.
まあ、
Okay, then.
麦を作るのも大変だろうが、人殺しも楽じゃないってことだ。
Yeah. That's true, for sure. I guess. I don't know. Both. No idea how to grow it. No idea how it is to be a killer. Saying that, I put my hand on her head before once again starting to walk. When I looked up, I saw that the sky had become misty white at some point. Snow began to scatter once again from that sky. Wounds. It seemed the deeper they are, the more time they take to heal. That's why blood that was lost needed to be healed somewhere, even if there was a limit. Even if there was a limit to healing it, too much blood is lost. If that isn't done, a hole opens up in the heart. That's the one piece of advice I could give her as a senior killer. That night, the sun was slowly setting and a large moon was showing its face. While listening to the sounds of a small river, we sat down on its bank and warmed ourselves by a fire.
おい、ちょっと水浴びでもするか。
Huh? There wasn't any particular reply, but she probably approved of my suggestion. I'm not sure about that. And just as she was, the princess slowly walked to the water. Even she probably felt a bit disgusted. There were still blood spatters on her here and there. Wading waist deep in the cold water, I splashed water on my face. The air was cold enough for snow, making my breath steam white. I looked next to me and saw her stepping in the flowing water in the same way. However, she wasn't making big splashes like I was. Hesitatingly, even meekly, she touched the water. Fearfully, she put her hand in the water, but it was so cold she quickly pulled her hand back. Apparently, she was having trouble washing her face. While normally she wouldn't have an expression at all, right now she looks surprisingly angry and sullen. Well, that doesn't look anything like a cold-faced killer. Her actions and expression looked like those of any other normal kid. But there was one point that was different.
なあ姫様、今くらい剣を置け。
無理よ。手にくっついているんだから。
なんだそりゃ。
She looked at the sword in her hand seriously.
私にとって剣を手放すのは死と同意なのよ。
そりゃ立派な心構えだな。さすがは姫様だ。
茶化さないで。
She glared daggers, or I suppose maybe sulked. The princess's face was slightly puffy. And she may well have been upset about that, because she took a deep breath and dropped into the water all at once. Ah, so cold. After washing our clothing and bodies, we built up a fire on the riverbank and warmed ourselves. The moon in the night sky seemed even bigger and clearer. The morning was probably going to be really cold. The fire crackled as it burned. It was warming us, of course, but being wet at this time of year meant freezing to death. We had both hung our clothes to dry on a nearby tree and were sitting next to the fire, naked. But naked. Even the princess seemed embarrassed and sat with her back facing the fire. When I looked, there was a bird louse on my arm. I tossed it actually into the campfire, thinking how odd it was to see one in the winter. To me it was a very natural action, but...
変わってるわね。
With her back facing me, she spoke.
何のことだ。
今、あなたコオロギを殺したでしょ。
それがどうした。
殺すと縁起が悪いのよ。
Bad luck. Just what was she talking about?
そんな。コオロギの広めた噂など知らん。
コオロギが
ああ、自分の身を守るためにそんな噂を流したんだろう。
Makes sense, of course.
なるほど。
I was kidding, of course, but she looked at me with something like admiration.
あなた、意外に賢いの。
意外には余計だけど。
Laughing just a bit, I looked up at the stars. A large moon and many stars. Their brightness was hazy from the moonlight, but they shone weakly. That small light was Polaris, pointing north. The left leg and Capella's tip were stark. And the morning star shining high and bright was proof that it was winter. I learned all that once while on a campaign.
まだ春は遠いな。
星を見てわかるの。
ああ、星座の位置で大体はわかる。
物知りね。人殺ししか知らないと言ってたくせに。
残念ながらこれもその一環で知った。
It's already been 20. No, more like 30 years. Back when I learned all that, I was little more than a child. As I thought back on those memories, she started to speak again.
じゃあ、これは知ってる？
Once again, she looked up at the night sky.
空は夜明け前が一番暗いって。
いや、知らない。
Now that she mentioned it, it felt like that was true, but I've never seen that for myself.
東の空が白み出す前、最も暗くなるのよ。
She added that, looking sad for some reason. She spoke in a somewhat nostalgic tone, almost exactly like I did just earlier.
お前のも人殺しの一環で知ったのか。
さあね。
There was still a lot I didn't know about her. She had no home to return to, nowhere to go. Worse still, there were people set on taking her life. Even if she were able to leave this country, what did she intend to do afterward? Running away, running as far as she could go? But what did she want in the end? Just what was her reason for staying alive, I wonder? The next day, once again, snow flurries danced down from the white sky. As always, we continued to the forest. Soon we'd emerge into a clearing. Someone is there. The princess was walking ahead of me, but she stopped suddenly too. Apparently she'd noticed as well.
ね
ああ、2、3人くらいだろうな。
I didn't know who they were. There were too many candidates. They might be people who came to take her back, or they might be here to avenge the death of someone she'd killed along the way. Either way, I had expected that some kind of opposition would appear. I was never under the impression we'd make it out of the country without some sort of trouble. Apparently sensing what I was thinking from my appearance, she glanced at me.
不安か？
Obviously.
何のためにあなたと一緒にいると。
ああ、そうだったな。
First, I went to a place with a clear view. In a situation like this, facing the enemy directly was the best plan. Even if we fled and managed to run away, or hid and let them pass, the problem wouldn't be solved. In fact, we'd be followed endlessly, and eventually getting caught in an ambush would be nasty. First, to check on their number, we surveyed them from the shade of the trees.
どうやら3人だけか。
Confirming that they didn't have other friends in hiding, I then urged the princess to step out in front of them with me. They probably hadn't expected us to walk right out in front of them. The unknown soldiers looked a bit surprised. Given their gear, they probably weren't common scoundrels, but they didn't look much like real soldiers either. Then, they were probably mercenary types like myself. However, since they didn't look to be equipped with short bows, they were likely contracted to take her back.
ねえ、どうする気？
大丈夫だ。まずは俺に任せろ。
For now, I kept the princess next to me calm. A hidden attack meant both sides would suffer losses. Even these guys knew that. First, I called out to them.
なあ、お前たち。もしかしてこいつが目的か？
I pointed at the princess next to me. Yeah, will you hand her over quietly? Said one of the men facing me, his hand still on his sword. Looks like they weren't stupid enough to attack Sun either. Then there was room to negotiate, and there were other possibilities. Regular soldiers and knights would probably have said something about their duty, but these were just contracted mercenaries out for money. I took a single coin from my bag. It was a Roman-era gold piece, not something you see very often.
なあ、これで見逃してくれないか。
A gold coin? That's a real one?
おう、なんなら調べてくれてもいいぞ。
Saying that, I tossed it at their feet. With the coin at his feet, the mercenary reflexively looked at his companions. From the looks of it, it was possible to buy them off. Just mercenaries who are in it for the money aren't above that after all. However, I had no intention of letting them return like that. One of them bent over to pick up the gold coin at their feet. It was then! In one burst, I closed the distance. At the same time, I cut at their cloaks. With one of their comrades suddenly cut down, the remaining two seemed more confused than surprised. As for those two, I didn't give them a chance to draw and brandish their swords. With my returning throw, I cut off a leg. The three of them were on the ground, bleeding and clutching their legs. Their painful screams echoed through the quiet land between the mountains. I wasn't bothered about dealing them a fatal blow right away. When they are like this, unable to run or put up a decent fight, it was the same. On the battlefield, half dead was the same as dead. This was my strategy and my way of thinking. I had no desire to directly cross swords with them at all. Afterwards, I just had to take my time and kill them one by one. A person's life capable of ending in an eye blink was a fragile thing.
助けてくれ。俺たちは頼まれただけなんだ。
残念ながら、その願いは聞けない。
They were soft. If they had the time to pick up a gold coin, they could have just quickly attacked. Something like that they could have taken after they killed us.
相変わらずひどい殺し方ね。
姫様は卑怯だと言いたいのか？
別に。
Exactly as she said, she replied without any expression at all. Whether she really believed that, I didn't know, but at least she certainly was someone who could watch this without trouble.
だが今のはあいつらが甘いだけだ。ろくに戦場での経験もないだろう。
さすが先輩。勉強になるわ。
This time she replied with clear sarcasm. For some reason this felt more like her. It was peculiar.
でもあなた、普通に戦ってもかなり強いでしょ。
まあな。実はこれでも騎士だ。
笑えない冗談ね。
ああ、笑えない冗談だな。
We took the cat up dead bodies, shoved them down the slope, and departed. Most likely they would have backed down if they were given money. They were just those kinds of mercenaries. But if they lived to return, they would definitely have said something, and that was why we needed to kill them.
まあ、それでも似たような輩はまだ来るな。
This wasn't like your garden variety condemned fugitive. A surviving member of a fallen kingdom couldn't just be left alone. So at the least, until we left the country, we probably wouldn't know peace. It might be time for me to part ways with this one. While thinking that, I headed from the mountains to a remote plains. The next day, exiting the forest, we entered a remote wasteland. There was much snow, but a cold wind stole the heat from our bodies, and it was even worse without any cover.
おい、もっと顔を下げろ。風に対して体が斜めになるように。
Occasionally I would give her instructions as she walked next to me.
ねえ、これも人殺しの一環で知ったの？
もちろんだ。
After that incident, I was thinking, even if we left the country, it wasn't like any other country would do. Right now, this country didn't have any particularly friendly relations with other countries, but the idea was to get to a country where war might break out at any point. Because in a country in such a delicate situation, it was hard to believe they would chase us over the border. Bearing in mind how long it had been since we'd seen that last set of mercenaries, I should probably be trying to get out of the country as quickly as possible. And that's why, even knowing it was dangerous, I chose to cross here.
確かこの辺りにあったと思うが。
It was a number of years ago, but I had been to this place before. From that experience, I knew that the path between the mountains here had an obstacle. With that in mind, I peered about as we went on.
あった。
I found the fort waiting on the far side of the rock face. I had thought it might have already been destroyed, but I suspected the gates remained even now. And hoping there weren't any guards stationed there, I narrowed my eyes.
やばいな。
There weren't just soldiers, but a few of what looked to be knights. It'd be bad if we were found, but I knew very well that there was no way around. Apparently she sensed something from my appearance.
どうかした？
いや、問題ない。
問題あるのね。
まあな。
I started giving her a brief explanation.
向こうに砦が見えるだろう。あれに見つかるとちょっと厄介だ。
見張りがいるの？
ああ、ここからではその姿は確認できないが間違いない。
どうしてそう言い切れるの？
そりゃ俺の勘は悪いことほど外れないからな。
じゃあ決まりね。
With just those two answers, the princess was satisfied. I'm sure she felt the same as myself. Plus, it wasn't just gut feeling. A country just out of war time would still have a fair number of soldiers garrisoned.
言っておくが、相手をどうにかしようなんて考えるなよ。
First, I headed off the princess next to me. Up until now, she had been killing simple soldiers returning home. On top of that, it wasn't anything more than stabbing them from behind in ambush. But these were regular soldiers. If it were a few ruffians or mercenaries, I could fight them, but I can take out an army. If we are discovered, we wouldn't get off easily. Without a doubt, we'd be blanketed in a long bow arrow barrage. And even if we manage to survive the bows and arrows, night would have arrived from the fort in that time.
よく聞けよ。ここから何箇所かは身を隠す場所がない。
Few, not a few. Few, that's not good.
どうするの？
そりゃ闇に紛れて駆け抜けるしかない。
Okay, let's do it. The two of us waited until sunset. Once the sun was finally down, we dashed across the rocky surface.
おい、もっと体を低くして走れ。
Sometimes I would call to her as we went. Unlike in the mountains, there were few places to hide yourself. So naturally we'd run in short bursts, then hide for a bit, and do the same thing over again. If memory serves, there will definitely be guards on watch at all times, even at night.
ここは距離が長い。月が隠れたら一気に抜けるぞ。
The two of us had our backs to the rock, waiting for the right time to run. If I were alone, I wouldn't have to do something this dangerous. I couldn't help thinking that all of a sudden, it wasn't like I was being pursued in this country. With the previous war ending, I was nothing more than a mercenary with no further use. I doubt anyone's found out I killed that priest the other day. I could pay my way through the front gates with silver, or I could mix in easily with guards traveling with a caravan. But because of the girl next to me, everything was different. I'm sure they've already got wanted posters out. I guess I should be cutting her off. Once again, the thought resurfaced.
何？
いや、なんでもない。
As I thought that, the moon disappeared behind the clouds.
おい、走るぞ。
Once again, we dashed off, running as fast as we could in areas where we couldn't hide, dashing to places with rocks where we could catch our breath. We did that over and over until we were out of the sight of the fort. Eventually, about halfway through, the moon hiding behind the clouds suddenly began showing itself.
急げ、月が出るぞ。
As if sliding, we threw ourselves into the rocks in front of us. It was then! Shit. She slid too hurriedly and twisted her leg.
見せてみろ。
I hurried over and felt her leg. Looks like the bone isn't broken, but she's twisted it badly.
歩けそうか。
多分、
では、走れそうか。
それは無理みたい。
そうか。
What to do? At the very least, we need to get out of here before dawn. We won't be able to hide once the sun comes up, and we'll be found by the night watch.
ねえ、待ってくれる気ある？
ないな。
I replied instantly. There was still another half of the distance left before we would be out of sight for the fort. If we wasted time here, we'd definitely be found with the dough.
悪いが、見捨てていく。以前にも言ったが、俺は死に方を探しているだけで、こんな場所で大勢に囲まれて死ぬのはごめんだ。
そう。
それともお前、力になれない俺を恨むか？
いいえ、しょうがないわ。
ああ、さすがに物分かりがいいな。
Raising my hand in farewell to the princess, I ran off, leaving her behind. You dick! That's right, this wasn't something that could be helped. From the start, I had intended to leave her whenever she became a burden. Probably by the time she's caught and executed, I'll be on my way into the next country. And when this winter ends, I will already have forgotten her. That's all there was to it. Oh, so I guess there will be 10 chapters. Alright, that was Bread and Wounds, chapter 5th. And yeah, basically hope you enjoyed it. See you tomorrow. Bye.